I recently unlocked and used the 12-hour test drive for the M64, and I figured with almost 45 matches under my belt, I could give some first impressions of the tank. The M64 is War Thunder's free vehicle for Battle Pass 6, Firepower. You can unlock it at level 51 in the Battle Pass, and its tricolor camouflage is unlocked at level 54. You can also unlock the 12-hour test drive that I used at level 9. This rank 3 5.7 BR light tank from the Republic of China is a combination of two already known American tanks. It takes the hull from the M42 Duster SPAA and the turret of the M18 Hellcat, so people familiar with those tanks will feel right at home. For those thinking, how does a light tank turret work on an AA chassis? I have no idea, but it works far better than I could have ever imagined. In practical terms, it's a slightly slower, slightly more cumbersome M18. Both are faster than most anything that you'll find at that BR on the battlefield. Both use the M62 APCBC shell with 149mm of pen, which can basically one-shot anything. And both tanks will usually get destroyed in a single shot due to having effectively paper armor that can only stop machine guns. The M64, like the M18, also gets access to other shells like M42HE and M93 APCR, which have their uses, but there isn't a practical reason to take anything but M62 shots. The M64 also gets access to the M1919 coaxial machine gun that isn't present on the M18. The M64 and M18 also share their main weakness. They're both open-top tanks. Although I rarely ended up dying by it, artillery was an always present threat, and having an arty or two dropped on me did cause me to make some split-second plays that resulted in a few of my deaths. Speaking of deaths, I finished off my 45 matches with a 1.4 KD ratio, 56 kills across 40 deaths. Of those 40 deaths, most of them were one-shots. The crew of the M64 is so tightly packed that any APHE shot into the crew compartment will take out everybody most of the time. Of the shots that I took but survived, those were divided into two types. The first were shots that went through the turret and only hit some of the turret crew, and the second were shots that were absorbed by the engine but kept the crew alive. Due to how the Duster chassis is shaped, reversing into an enemy position is a valid strategy. You just end up losing a lot of your speed and maneuverability. Although I wasn't able to use it because I've never played the Chinese tech tree before, there is a decent 5.7 BR lineup that the M64 can slot into. At 5.7, the Chinese tech tree has access to an M18 Hellcat and two versions of the T-3485, one with a Dishka and one without. There's also a premium T-3485 at that BR if you're inclined to spend 4,880 golden eagles for it. With access to the M64, I think that also getting the premium T-34 would be a little bit of premium overkill. As I just said, I haven't used any Chinese tanks before the M64, but I think that it's a perfect premium to start out the Chinese grind. I can't wait to unlock it from the Battle Pass. This video was only a first impressions of the tank after using it for 12 hours, so come back in a month when I've fully unlocked it for the full review.